Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters, and welcome to my craft room. If you're new here, welcome back if you're a subscriber. Thanks for clicking on the subscribe button and dinging the bell. Today we are going to be making a card using the Love from Lizi February 2023 card kit, and this card kit is called Watercolour Wonder, and it's an absolutely beautiful kit, and I have really enjoyed crafting with it. So far we have made 6 cards, and this one is our 7th card. It's a banner card and it's a slimline card. Now I know that lots of different crafters make different size slimline cards. Is there a standard? I don't know. For me, I have these envelopes in my stash. They measure just over 4¼ by just over 8½. So for that reason, I like to make my slimline cards 4 inches by 8¼ So they're the measurements I'm going to give you for this card. So for my card base, I have a piece of 8 by 8¼ I've scored it at 4, and that will give us a 4 by 8¼ slimline card. Now I'm going to have mine in this orientation, so it's a top folding slimline card. Okay, so I'm going to show you inside my card. I've it already done and ready to go. So I've taken a stamp. It's just a generic happy birthday stamp. I got this from a magazine when I started crafting a couple of years ago now, and I just liked the sentiment for this. I decided rather than putting my sentiment in the middle of the card, I would put it over to the left hand side. I feel in sending this card, I can put, we'll say, to the person's name, we'll say Michael, and then I have all this room here to write a message and sign my name. I can even put Michael there, Simone here, and my extra message. So I just felt rather than putting it in the middle of the card and kind of, you know, it's very hard to put a message inside, I thought it would be a neat idea to put this to the left. So that's what I've done. I'm using again a holographic card from my stash, and what I've done is I've cut 2 strips here. This one is a little over 1/4 inch wide, and this one is a little over 1/8 inch wide, and I just felt the 2 strips in there would reflect what we have going on the outside of our card. So for the outside of our card, I have got a piece of holographic cardstock. Now you can use just a plain blue matte piece of cardstock, or you can put your piece of pattern paper down and use your peel-offs around it as a border. But this is what I'm going with. This matte layer measures 3 3/4 by 8 inches wide, and it'll sit on top of our card just like so. I then have a piece of pattern paper, and this is from the kit. This piece measures 7 3/4 by 3½. Now I have a few things going on here, and I'm going to share that with you. First of all, I've taken my X-cut punch. It's here, and if you've never seen one of these allow you to punch a hole anywhere in a piece of paper that you like. It comes with 3 size bits, so it comes with your standard size, what I would call, you know, your regular hole punch. Then you have a smaller size and smaller again, a teeny one, which is great for the different size of brads you can get. Now we got some brads in the kit this month, and I wanted to use those, so I took my middle size punch and I punched out 2 holes here in the top left and top right hand corner, and I allowed myself a little bit of room for the legs on the brads. Also what I've done is I've taken the peel-offs, these beautiful sapphire holographic peel-offs that we got in our kit, and I added some of these. I have the widest, then the medium, and then the smallest pinstripe here along this piece, and it really pulls in the holographic cardstock that we have there that we're going to use for our matte layer behind. Okay, we also got a sheet with some die cuts or pop outs or ephemera pieces, whatever you want to call them. I have taken a number of these, 5 to be exact. I've taken 5 of these out of here and I have them. I've also taken a piece of the ribbon and I have stuck my fishtail banner tags, whatever you want to call them. I think they're called fishtail banners or banners. Anyway, I've taken the 5 of these and I have wrapped them around the ribbon. Now I put double-sided tape on the other side here, so when it wrapped around, it stuck. I've also added some foam squares, and these are just some black foam squares that I had in my stash. You can see the top one there is going to ensure that our folded over piece is going to stay in position. I also took a craft knife that I have in my stash and I made a little slit in the ribbon, and that allowed me then to pop my little pieces, my brads, through the slit that I made. These are going to get put through the pattern paper and then they'll be splayed open on the other side, and I just thought it would be nice there with a pop of color on both sides. Okay, so I'm going to use some of the letters. I have them here and I'm going to put happy on these. These were the letters that we also got in the kit. They're a wooden letter and they have peel off tape on the back of them, so they're ready to be stuck down. I've then taken a die from my stash. This is one that is available as of recording the video anyway. They're word and shadow dies that you can get from the Love from Lizi website. I got them in January 2022, but as far as I'm aware, they're still available on Lizi's website. So I've taken the birthday. I didn't die cut out the shadow. I just die cut out the word here, and I'm going to sit it along the top of my peel off here. So my front of my card will have happy birthday on it, and the little dot off the eye, I have that here in my little bowl, and that little dot is called a tiddle. That word and murmuration, which is what a big group of birds do when they're swooping and soaring in the sky, are my 2 very favorite words. Tiddle, doesn't that just make you smile? And murmuration, that kind of makes me feel very zen. Okay, anyway, I digress. For a finish, I used the Ultramarine VersaCraft ink that we got in this month's kit to stamp the sentiment inside my card. So that is all our pieces and parts ready. What we need to do now is a little assembly. So let's go ahead and do that together. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my matte layer down to my card base, and I have my Collal glue here. I'm going to use that to glue it down. It's a solvent based glue, but it has a very minimal smell. To be honest, I don't smell anything. I know some people find that it has a very mild smell, but I find this brilliant. When the Collal glues, it glues very hard or solid, so it gives strength to your project, whether it's a card or whatever you're making. Not only that, when you use the Collal glue, it doesn't leave any tacky residue if it leaks outside of where you're putting it, so you can just rub away any excess and it rubs off like an eraser. The liquid piece goes like when you rub a pencil with an eraser, that's how it goes. And yeah, I love using it. I find with paper, pattern paper, some of them that are very thin, when you use a water-based glue, it can cause rippling on your paper, whereas the Collal doesn't do that because it's a solvent glue. Okay, the next thing I want to do now is add my banners onto my pattern paper. So I'm just going to close up the legs of our brads and I'm going to add them in here. and then I can fold them over so that they sit behind the pattern paper. And you can put a bit of tape or double-sided tape or like a sellotape to make sure that they stay in place. So I want to be careful that I don't actually rip the paper. With these as well, you can also cut down the little legs. So if you find that they're poking out, you can cut them off a little bit and that'll help with that. But these are just sitting nicely behind there, so I'm happy with that now. So that's how our piece is going to look there. I'm going to cut off, or will I wrap around? Do I want to wrap around or cut it off? I think I will wrap my ribbon around the back of my pattern paper and stick it down with a little piece of sellotape, and I'm going to do that with the other side as well. I'm going to trim this down a little bit, and that'll just ensure that it doesn't go anywhere. So I'll use a little bit of tape to wrap the ribbon around and stick down the brads, and then over that I will add some double-sided tape and then use my liquid glue when I stick that panel down. Lovely. So once I'm happy with that, then I can take the backing off my little banners and I can stick them down. So I'm going to add my piece of pattern paper now onto the back first. And I'm going to just cut off a little bit of that leg. You see how easy that cut off there with my scissors. And then I can just be sure that that isn't going to stick over the top of my page. And again, I'm going to use my collal glue to glue this down. And it'll just be so that I have strength there added to my pattern paper. So not only did I add some of my liquid glue behind the panel, but I also added some double-sided tape behind there where the brads are, just to make sure that the panel sticks down properly. I'm going to stick down the fishtail banners now, and what I'm doing is just taking the release paper off the back of the foam tapes, and I made sure that the center one was, the middle one was centered, and then I put the rest of them down. So I'll just add a little pressure to them and make sure they're fixed in place. Now we have our banners in place there. We can now add our letters on. So there is adhesive on the back of these, but I am just going to take a little bit of liquid adhesive, my Cosmic Shimmer Quick Grab Glue. I'm going to add a little bit onto the back of that just to be sure. I don't want them popping off on me. I'll pop them all down in place and add a little bit of glue now as well. That'll give me a bit of wiggle room to make sure they're on there straight. Okay, so now we have our birthday. And what I want to do is, I don't want to kind of have my birthday here underneath. So I'm going to stick it down so that my birthday is here. Well, my B part of my birthday is here. Just a little bit of. And then the rest of it can sit like so. So it may actually sit kind of like that. So let's have a look. B-I-R, yeah, it's going to sit there. And I'm happy with that as well. I'm happy with the placement. You know, if I move this over a little bit this way, then the B is kind of going to get hidden. So I'm going to make sure that my B is right under the middle. And I'll make sure it's all sitting along that top peel off there. It's like the line for the birthday to sit on. So there we are. We have our happy birthday with our sentiment inside. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish it up. Now I've used all my sequins at this stage. I do have some of the wooden dots that I could use, but I think what I'm going to do is just add some accent glaze to the top of my letters, and then I'll use my accent glaze a bit like Nuvo drops. You could use some Nuvo drops on this as well. So I'm going to quickly now add some accent glaze, and this is just like your glossy accents. It's just another brand, and I know that there's lots of different brands of them out there. I have some Nouveau Crystal Drops in my stash, and this is Morning Dew. So I'm just going to add a couple of little drops of this just to add a little bit of texture to our card. Now, I think that's perfect. So there we go. There is our slimline happy birthday card using the products from the Love from Lizi 2023 February kit called Watercolour Wonder. And we've used some of the pop-outs, some of the wooden letters, pattern paper, and then some products from our stash as well. So that's it. If you've liked my video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing. And if not, you might click the subscribe button and ding the bell. That way you'll be notified next time I post a video. You can share your card makes on the Love from Lizi Facebook group, as well as my Facebook group called Your Cards and Crafts. All the links are down below to products, etc., as well as to my Etsy shop, where you can get your own little glue pin or you can make your own. So that's it, folks. I'm going to leave it there until the next one. Thanks for watching, and bye for now. Bye bye.